Hold on to your seats. The fun and excitement of duckpin bowling is rolling your way. It's time for Duckpin Magic.
Welcome back to Duckpin Magic. I'm Mike Sella, with me Joe Ryanair for the 5th annual Fair Lanes Men's Duckpin Classic. And Joe, we had 192 entries. We're down to the final 13, and over the next 4 weeks, we'll see these guys go head-to-head.
Well, Mike, it's been a real interesting weekend, and we have some real interesting statistics to give you. But we have 13 bowlers. Buddy Kramer on top, and that's a story in its own self because he had to bowl off a game just to qualify. So we'll be back with our first match and tell you more.
All right, a lot of top bowlers bowling head-to-head scratch. We'll see the first match and meet our bowlers coming up right after this.
Last year, over 19,000 Americans died in alcohol-related accidents.
To prevent this carnage, we must stop people who've had too much to drink from driving.
And space technology has led to a device to help do just that.
It's a breath tester called a soberlizer that prevents a car from starting if the driver's had too much to drink.
Here's how it works. The driver turns on the ignition, then blows into a tube for a few seconds.
If the soberlizer detects alcohol above a preset mark, the car won't start.
California and other states are already using this procedure with second offense drunk drivers who are subject to imprisonment if they don't have one of these devices installed.
Hopefully it will lead to a significant reduction in drunk driving accidents and deaths.
Space research not only benefits lives,
it helps save them.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Once, there were a few proud men. Men of adventure. Men of courage. Men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are the Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
You know, not that many years ago, there was a gun in virtually every American homestead. Hi, I'm Grits Gresham. And if you own a gun today, be sure that you know how to use and store your gun in a safe and proper manner. If you don't, make it a point to learn. Safety instruction is available at many shooting ranges and gun clubs throughout the country. And remember, safety is where responsible gun ownership starts. This message is a public service of this station and the National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Our family and our friends, when they get sick, who takes care of them? Competent, committed healthcare professionals, that's who. Nurses, lab technicians, physical therapists, and others. Take time out to thank them for their dedication and their hard work. Go ahead, they deserve it. This message is a public service of the Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, AFT, and this station.
There are millions of brave Americans across our countryside who answered when their country called, defended her with pride. Across the generations, from sea to shining sea, we're proud to serve our veterans. We're the DAV.
The Disabled American Veterans reaches out with free service for veterans and their families. The DAV Field Service Unit will arrive in your area soon to help veterans with benefits such as disability compensation, medical care, pensions, employment, and educational benefits. It's our way of saying,
yes, we're proud of you, the American veteran. We're here to serve you. We're the DAV.
Check your local newspaper for schedules.
Last year, over 19,000 Americans died in alcohol-related accidents.
To prevent this carnage, we must stop people who've had too much to drink from driving.
And space technology has led to a device to help do just that.
It's a breath tester called a soberlizer that prevents a car from starting if the driver's had too much to drink.
Here's how it works. The driver turns on the ignition, then blows into a tube for a few seconds.
If the soberlizer detects alcohol above a preset mark, the car won't start.
California and other states are already using this procedure with second offense drunk drivers who are subject to imprisonment if they don't have one of these devices installed.
Hopefully it will lead to a significant reduction in drunk driving accidents and deaths.
Space research not only benefits lives,
It helps save them.
space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
When we were coming home, there was a big fire in the house, and there was like a fire down the beach or something.
Freddie,
Hi, Grandpa.
sitting out here by yourself?
No, I'm talking to Shep.
Mind if I join you?
For young and old alike, a healthy, happy pet is a companion for life. See that your pet gets regular veterinary care. A public service message from the American Veterinary Medical Association.
Do you want to?
I don't know.
Ricky, if you and your girlfriend have sex just once, you could win this new baby. She'll become a housewife. And forget about partying, dude. You get a full-time job. So, Ricky, what's your decision?
Get some straight facts about sex and pregnancy. Call 1-800-FACTS-20 for this free booklet.
$1,500 at stake on top as we start the first of 4 weeks worth of bowling matches here at Fair Lanes, Prince George County, just north of Washington, D.C. And our first bowler, Dennis Schriver, the 13th seed. Going to hear quite a bit of support vocally from Dennis Schriver, right?
We sure will. He's a relief manager here at Fair Lanes P.G. Very well known, popular, and let me tell you, he's won a Pro Tour, had a high game of 209. That was in his qualifying game. There's a spare in the first frame as he hit the number 1 pin. His 7th and final game of the qualifying, he shot 209, gave him a total of 1114. And to give you an idea what that is, 1120 is 160, Mike. So the scores were very good. These are the only synthetic lane surfaces that the game of duck pins has, and once you adjust to the approach, if you can get your approach, keep it smooth, and then just learn the approach and the feel of the approach, the conditions are so uniform, and I think it's what gave us a high score. It took 151 average to qualify.
Should mention Kenny Mumaw, our 12th seeded bowler. Kenny's got some impressive numbers to his credit. 244 high game, 583 high set, 8-game record of 1376, tossed in the Lord Baltimore Open. I believe, doesn't Kenny have a Pro Tour win to his credit as well?
No, sir. He's
come close a couple of times, though, right?
Hey,
oh, look at that.
What you saw there is the result of this synthetic lane and the conditioning of it. It's so uniform that if you watch the ball, and you really can pick up the turns, revolutions on the ball as they go down the lane. The toughest thing, other than the approach to get used to, Mike, is the glare of the lane, and you can see on your TV that it's just a wonderful surface.
You can see that shiny surface. It's almost acting like a mirror in some cases, and
you see Dennis cut through the middle, left a 3-6-10 on the right, and a 2-4 on the left.
Some of the bowlers using special lubrication type powder that is supplied by the house to allow you to slide a little bit more easily.
For the manufacturer of the lanes, realized that they did have a problem, and it's because this surface is so smooth, Mike, you create a friction between your foot and the clean surface, the clean sliding surface, and what happens is the rubber heel on the shoe sort of grabs, and of course, there you see it, number 7. When you have two smooth, clean surfaces and you put 150 to 200 pounds on it and push, you're going to create heat. And of course, heat and rubber causes a little bit of a sticky situation. So,
well, Dennis Schriver comes up with a mark in the 3rd frame, and unlike the last couple of weeks, if folks at home have been watching Duckpin Magic, these bowlers are bowling head-to-head scratch. There is no handicap involved, so whatever they put up on the board is what they get. There's no additional help, as in the ADT Tour, in which the handicap is used to balance out all of the bowlers.
Exactly. This is very similar to a Pro Tour that you've seen many times before on Duckpin Magic.
Right on the nose for Ken Mumaw.
Kenny, one of the 3 bowlers in the ladder that happened to beat me in the head-to-head semifinals, I guess you'd call it.
I do believe we mentioned once or twice that while we were taping the previous 2-week shows, you were off enjoying yourself bowling. Or maybe bowling. I don't know whether you enjoyed yourself.
I enjoyed one of the 5 games. The other 4 they put in the loss column for me, Mike. But I still enjoy it. I just missed you. I wanted to get back.
Yeah. Chet Gaffney filled in and was able to keep us up to date on the goings-on of the ADT and a lot of the bowlers.
I'll bet he took the opportunity to put some plugs in, didn't he? I tell you, the 190 plus entries that we had here, we do have to attribute a lot of that to the ADT, the Open Handicap, and Chet Gaffney. He has created, over the past 3 or 4 years, many a tournament bowler that would not have been a tournament bowler without the ADT and the Open Handicap.
Yeah, that's something we talked about, and how a bowler might have a 130 average or 125 average, whatever, but it would be the confidence of bowling in tournament after tournament after tournament, which would allow somebody to be able to go in and win. And he was telling me that one of the competitors had a wife who won a ADT event, and she's only a 106 average bowler. But because of the handicap system and the way they try to keep it competitive, everybody has a legitimate shot. Here, this is a little different. This is some of your better bowlers, unless you're going to be averaging 140 to 145, 150, 155, and in some cases even more than that. And we'll talk about that as some of the scores were indicative of that. You've got to be one of the better bowlers to compete in this group.
Well, you really, just to check the score here, we got Dennis 51 through 4, Kenny 57, a 6-pin match. But I think what the bowlers are learning, Mike, is so much of this game is mental. I mean, I got beat by a couple guys today that 4 or 5 years ago, I don't believe they would have come from behind and beat me. But they stuck with it. They didn't get frustrated. Let's say they played a good head game, they figured out what they were doing, and they finished well. And I've watched it happen at so many of our tournaments where the bowlers are learning that this game is mental, and when you step on the approach, you need a game plan.
Dennis Schriver picks up the mark. Maybe we should explain, Joe, how these bowlers arrived here. We had 192 start. Everybody bowled qualifying, 7 games. And then they took the top 30 qualifiers, and that in itself is a story, because our top seed Buddy Creamer had to roll in a bowl off just to make it into the head-to-head competition.
Yeah, he received late Saturday evening a startling call, because when he left, we were the better bowlers bowling so many of these, we pretty much can pick the cut score. But we had such a turnout that, of course, it's going to raise that cut score. A certain percentage, you're going to average 150. Well, you see Kenny sparing in frame number 5, and they called him and said, buddy, you got to be here tomorrow morning to bowl off. And he said, what? And I'm sure he thought it was a sort of a prank call. But nevertheless, he came in, won his game, and continued on in his top seed.
Essentially what they did is had, I believe, what is it, 5 divisions? They took the top 2 finishers in each division after they bowled head-to-head, and 3 wild cards. Dennis, Ken Mumaw, and our next bowler, Charles Rinker, all were the wild card based on pinfall, I believe, right? Or was it just...
Well, first it was based on win and loss,
head-to-head,
which we happen to have many 3-2 records, so then it reverted to pinfall.
And that's how we're here. And now it's up the ladder, 1 loss, and you're eliminated, and everything is scratch.
Yeah, you see some, when you play with figures, whether it be your income tax reports or bowling numbers, it becomes very interesting. And you see Byrd, 3-2, he's number 10, but he only had 696 in pinfall. But he was second in his division. The next bowler, 783, almost 100 pins more, 3-2. But he lost his division. So he wound up being a wild card, one of the 3 wild cards. Some big scores were shot. 846 on top, buddy. 800 is 160. 850, 170. So we have some statistics. I'm going to let Mike give them to you on Scott Walgamuth, who shot just ball for ball about as good as you can bowl, as well as you can bowl. And I'll let Mike tell you what happened.
Well, Scott ended up with a total of 885 in the 5 head-to-head games that he had. Here's our score here. It's an 11-pin match. Ken Mumaw leading Dennis Schriver. And poor Scott, well, he was eliminated in the head-to-head because he lost the head-to-head match, but his total score, as you see Dennis Schriver, and he gets the big round of applause as well. So, and Scott apparently put together a bunch of marks in that match, and we talk about it because the score of 885 is, what would you figure it out? That was 177 average for 5 games.
Exactly. And
he didn't make it. That's the bottom line. That's basically what the moral of that story is. That you know, here's a fellow that bowled exceptionally well, but unfortunately, when it came to the head-to-head, obviously he hit everybody just on the right game. He had games of 182, 194, 181, 177, 151.
So you see Kenny come back with a mark, frame number 7.
Kenny likes the lane on the right side. He's done. He's got 3 of his 4 marks, 3 spares on that lane. Got a strike back in the 2nd frame, I believe, on this lane.
Going blank his last 2 times on lane 35.
I notice a lot of the bowlers here, Joe, they stay well shy of the foul line. A lot of times we'll see the good bowlers that get right up on top of it. Here they seem to be a little bit more cautious, and they stay well shy of it.
Well, and if you watch the foot, what happens here, the bowler automatically adjusts by slowing the approach up. The rhythm is slowed down, and I think it has a little bit to do with the good scores. That a bowler, the adrenaline flows, and we tend to run, and we're going to...
A little bit more deliberate, and therefore you do everything you're supposed to do. In fact, one of the bowlers you missed won 3 matches during the last 2 shows, the ADT tour, and he had said to Chet beforehand that that was one of his problems. He was always speeding up. Well, he slowed down. He averaged like 155 or so for 3 or 4 matches and won 3 of them. And we attributed that partially to the fact that he had to slow down, and everything worked well for him.
One of the hardest things in the game to do is to keep your rhythm down. Part of the reason, Mike, and as you noted, the bowler is finishing more than the half-inch that most of your better bowlers get up on the line, and it's simply because you're not sliding as far. And I think, in going back to what I was saying about the better scores, when you can plant the left foot, like the pitcher on the pitcher's rubber, you can get more on the ball. It's a little tougher on you physically, because you're really grinding into the knee. You're planting the foot and coming through, but you're going to get more pin action because you actually are putting more stuff on the ball.
10-pin match now between Dennis Schriver and Ken Mumaw. Ken with the 111 in the 8th, Dennis 101. 8 out of that. 109 after 9 frames. And
you see, with the score, both bowlers, what your problem, both bowlers having 4 marks. Kenny back to strike with a spare in frames 2 and 3, and Dennis is going every other frame. They're just not backing their marks up, and I don't care whether you're a top-notch professional quality bowler or not. If you cannot string the marks, you're just not going to put a high score on the board. We still have an interesting match. I mean, if Kenny doesn't do something in these 2 frames and mark, and he has a tough shot right here, the 2, 3, 6, 10, or marking the 10th, Dennis can still win this match.
Whoa,
beautiful shot.
Beautiful. Yep. Got the good pin action, got the play off the wall, and took it out for the mark. As you see the scoring as it's occurred up to this point in the match.
121 plus for Kenny and 139 total, or 140 would actually close Dennis out in this match. And Kenny would be going on to bowl Charles Rinker, our 11th seed, 3 and 2 in the semifinals with a score of 783, 156 plus. Pretty ball there, and that.
It's an 8 count on the mark.
10 out would assure him of no less than a tie if he makes the shot, of course, and anything over 1 would close Dennis Schriver out.
Missed it originally, picked it off, it bounced off the back wall and came up and took out the 10 pin.
6 came off the cushion. Good things happen when you keep hitting object pins, Mike. I tell you, just to mention, because the game is anything, like we said, if he counts 1 or better, stays behind the foul line, we're going to have a winner in Ken Mumaw. And I'm going to say one more thing about Scott Wagamu's score, and then we'll set it aside because I'm sure he's heard enough about it. Nice 9 count and a 148. But in 50 frames, Mike, he made 43 marks. If you made 9 a game, it's 45, which I'm sure the people can figure out. But think about it, 43 marks.
86% success rate there as far as marks are concerned. That's tough.
And he's in the audience.
And he's shaking his head, too, in the audience. Doesn't quite understand
what happened, right? I told him, you know, when you have a good offense, you still need a good defense, and the defense apparently wasn't working very well. Just a tough way to go.
Well, Dennis is going to put up a mark here, the 10th. He's not going to go down easily.
Made 5 marks as Kenny made 6.
Just didn't put them together. Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
Drops 9, so Dennis finishes up with a 148. 148 win for Ken Mumaw, and he'll move on to face Charles Rinker, and we'll do that for you on Duckpin Magic right after this.
Once, there were a few proud men. Men of adventure. Men of courage. Men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are the Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
A perplexing problem has puzzled young people since the beginning of time. How to get a job without experience, and how to get experience without a job.
The answer is cooperative education, a nationwide program that lets college students work at real jobs for real pay while they're getting an education.
I knew that.
You have a condition such as a heart problem, diabetes, epilepsy, or an allergy? Or do you take medication on a daily basis? In an emergency, a medical team must know. A Medic Alert bracelet can tell them for you. Even if you're unconscious or too ill to speak for yourself, your Medic Alert bracelet or neck chain shows your exact medical condition and gives emergency personnel a toll-free number to call 24 hours a day for more detailed information. Join Medic Alert. Call now toll-free 1-800-ID-ALERT.
Buckley and O'Neill together, how come?
I'm here to elucidate the prodigious benefits of space technology, and you?
To bring what you say down to Earth. Take this laser, developed for space research.
It may one day supplant the need for coronary bypass surgery.
It could obliterate an artery obstruction in minutes. The patient's up and around the same day.
I'm speechless.
See? The benefits from space are endless.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
There are millions of brave Americans across our countryside who answered when their country called, defended her with pride.
The Disabled American Veterans is proud to serve our veterans and their families. The DAV Field Service Unit will be in your area soon with free service on veterans benefits.
We're here to serve you. We're the DAV.
Check your local newspaper for schedules.
Rinker, the 11-seeded bowler, that's faced Ken Mumaw, fresh off the win over Dennis Schriver. Charlie's out of Virginia, and we'll talk about him a little bit, but Ken Mumaw will bowl first.
Tell you, Mike, as I look over 1 to 13, the list that I have here in front of me, and some of the pinfalls, it really tells you the psychology of head-to-head bowling and what can happen. In the top 5, you have 3 guys that are in the 720s, which is right around 145, not real shabby. But below that, you have 810, 831, 792, 783, 777, and they simply only won 3 games as opposed to 4. So many times it comes down to a pin that puts a bowler in or out.
Well, here he is, Charlie Rinker. Charlie is a bowler on the Virginia Pro Tour.
Good bowler, certainly could compete with the National Pro Tour, but chooses to do, you know, his bowling locally basically because of his occupation.
Had a high game in qualifying of 209.
And a high game of 247 and a set of 531, so. I bowled with Charlie in a number of open tournaments like this one, and just a super gentleman to bowl with. Has a good time, and really enjoys the game.
There's a strike.
Enjoyed that a little. We have 2 bowlers here that were actually only 6 pins apart in their qualifying in the semifinals. If you watch at the release point, the bowlers are very similar. The little turn from right to left.
Winner of this match will move on to face 10th seeded Byrd, as we have started to climb up the ladder. And Ken Mumaw started himself off in this match with a spare in the second frame. See, both bowlers have marked after starting with an open frame. .192 bowlers started this event at Fair Lanes P.G. and
pretty ball.
That's a way to continue to move on up the ladder. Huh? Last year, the winner of this event was Larry Allen. Larry didn't make it through the qualifying this year.
Okay, Charlie cut that ball off just a little. He he did hit the head pin. It was out of instinct, really. He just got there a little quick and aimed it, as we say.
Nice. As he picks up the spare in third frame. So the bowlers have kept pace with each other through the first 3 frames.
Go ahead.
Got a break there.
Nice 8. Left 3-6.
So we talked about the pin action there, helped him out. Otherwise, he pushed through the middle and finally got something to come off the wall.
And that had to do with some of the good, or not some of, but the good qualifying scores, Mike. The fact that you can plant that foot and get a lot of turn on the balls. You throw the pins to the sidewalls, and they come back and they kick out what would have been a chop, and probably 2 on each side. He ends up with a 2-pinner, and over the course of 70 frames, or 10 frames even in a game, it really adds up. Kenny looking for a double.
Yep, did the same thing. Pushed through the middle, but wasn't as fortunate to get pin action off the back wall.
Kenny's one of those bowlers that, to the Pro Tour members and friends, it's just a mystery that Kenny Mumaw has not won not only more open tournaments, but a couple of Pro Tours. He put some big scores on the board. Very steady. Good basic style, you know, just something he really is solid under pressure. He doesn't have the type of style that breaks down under pressure. If anything, he'll do just what you saw him do there. It's not an errant thrown ball. It's just maybe a little bit of an aim, and he's accurate enough where he just pushes it through the middle. I think you see the difference in, let's say, under pressure. Nice ball.
Oh, see, there's the ball again. Yep.
He does that a lot. Kenny, really, if you watch Kenny release the ball, he really comes up, under, and around the ball, and it puts the side spin. So when he catches the 1-3 pocket, the ball goes to the right wall.
That's a clean one. The bowler's heating up here as Charlie Rinker now has put 4 marks in a row together.
Rapid bowler. Here he's on the other lane looking for a double. Nice ball. They just 8 of them went in the pit.
Try to make it a quick 20, huh? Mind a quick 10. And he's got it.
I tell you, Charlie, you know, I think Charlie's style, what happens is he eliminates the thinking by bowling rapid. Quite a few bowlers do that.
Yeah, he certainly didn't think about it very much there. Gave Ken Mumaw a lot to think about, though, after those 2. He threw those 3 balls in about 45 seconds.
Exactly. You see Kenny, a nice...
Yeah, there's right back at you.
Nice knee bend, good lift. Interesting game.
Sure is.
87 through 5 for Charlie. Kenny Mumaw, 74 plus a double in the 5th and 6th. See, Kenny waited for the first ball to come back. Sometimes if you're watching and you wonder what a bowler's waiting for, if they throw 2 or 3 balls on, let's say, the right lane, when they move over, you really don't like to throw your first ball till you see your second ball either back or coming back, because it just breaks your rhythm. Pretty ball. There was the ball again, but it went
behind the 5-pin that time.
Well, he had the ball and 2 pins looking for the 5, but
good fill though on the strike.
29 frame, pretty hard to beat, and it made it a 4-pin match after 5. 87 for Charlie Rinker.
He's got it.
Kenny Mumaw now 103 through 6, and a spare in frame 7. We see Rapid Charlie coming here. Move out of the way. Here comes Charlie Rinker.
He's working on a mark in the 6th frame. Strung 5 of them together here. Ooh.
Go push. 5 out of the middle. 102 to 103. Kenny Mumaw, 1-pin lead. And Kenny has his spare in frame 7. It's going to be a little edge. He's going to be 1 pin plus up. Whatever 1 pin plus what Charlie leaves.
Wow.
It'll be 2.
Clean that out nicely.
111 to 113 plus. 2-pin plus lead for Ken Mumaw through 7 frames. Big frame for Charlie. You don't want to open 2 frames in a row in a game like this, especially with Kenny stroking the way he has. He's going 5 out of 7, 2 spares and 3 strikes.
That strike is a terrific weapon when you can string it together. Really adds up the score in a hurry. As Charlie Rinker puts up the mark, so he goes open in the 7th, comes back with the spare in the 8th.
You're talking about offense and defense. The strike is an offensive and a defensive weapon because it really, as you see the score on the board.
See the number of marks that we have up on the board here in this match.
There, Kenny's had 3 of those. He's had 3 open, well, probably will have his 3rd open frame here as he works out. This is important he works his wood out because the lead is going to change hands again. Charlie has his mark in the 8th. That's what I tell you, head-to-head bowling, it happens so fast, Mike. You think, having the experience of it, you step up and think, well, if I can break 9 and make it, I'm going to jump out to a large enough lead where the man's going to have to double. You rip the middle, you finish the frame, and you look up and think, how'd I get behind?
Yep.
You know, and of course you step up there very positive. You're not protecting against chopping or anything, but as I said, I would say Kenny is one of our higher percentage pros as far as number of times hitting the head pin. He bangs that front one a lot of times, shoots spares well.
Well, he's got 125 after 8. Charlie Rinker 121 plus after 8.
There you see it again. One of the sort of nemesis of Kenny's game, and I really don't know how to explain why it happens, because he does throw a very active ball. He has a lot on it, moves pins around. He'll make his share of slide shots. There you see him resetting to get a little better grip on the ball. Yeah, he's at a part in the game, bowling frame number 9, and obviously he's going to be down if Charlie doesn't rip on his mark. And he probably was he was trying to slide that shot, no doubt about it.
Trying to pick it up to put a mark on the board in the 9th frame, and instead leaves the last 2 open, 134 for Ken Mumaw. And here's Charlie Rinker on a mark, and that's the way to fill the mark with another mark.
That's what happens when you get to this level in quality of bowler, Mike. It's just, you cannot make a mistake. And you have to say whether Kenny wins or loses. Kenny Mumaw did not beat himself. He went through the middle a few times, and I talked to Byrd. You see a tough split, and it's going to give Kenny at least a shot, because Kenny can shoot 164 with a triple. Charlie's going to be right around 160 if he hits 1 and 1 with the next 2 balls.
So Charlie Rinker picks up 1. That'll complete the fill on the strike. Give him a 150. Make it 160. 160 for Charlie Rinker. Fine game, and now Kenny Mumaw has to shoot at that, working on the open frame in the 9th. You see how things have worked out.
2 strikes and 7 will give him a 1-pin victory. If this is not a strike, we'll have Charles Rinker going on to face another local in Byrd.
Here's the match. Yep. Kenny just didn't have enough today to advance past the first match. So Charlie Rinker and Byrd will battle it out in our next match on Duckpin Magic.
7 marks for Charlie Rinker. Kenny Mumaw with 5 and a doubleheader, but of course he cut the middle on a strike and on a spare.
Kenny finishes with a 144, and that's it. Byrd and Charlie Rinker will go at it when we return right after this on Duckpin Magic.
Last year, over 19,000 Americans died in alcohol-related accidents.
To prevent this carnage, we must stop people who've had too much to drink from driving.
And space technology has led to a device to help do just that.
It's a breath tester called a soberlizer that prevents a car from starting if the driver's had too much to drink.
Here's how it works. The driver turns on the ignition, then blows into a tube for a few seconds.
If the soberlizer detects alcohol above a preset mark, the car won't start.
California and other states are already using this procedure with second-offense drunk drivers, who are subject to imprisonment if they don't have one of these devices installed.
Hopefully it will lead to a significant reduction in drunk driving accidents and deaths.
Space research not only benefits lives,
It helps save them.
space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Once, there were a few proud men. Men of adventure. Men of courage. Men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are. The Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
You know, not that many years ago, there was a gun in virtually every American homestead. Hi, I'm Grits Gresham. And if you own a gun today, be sure that you know how to use and store your gun in a safe and proper manner. If you don't, make it a point to learn. Safety instruction is available at many shooting ranges and gun clubs throughout the country. And remember, safety is where responsible gun ownership starts. This message is a public service of this station and the National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Our family and our friends, when they get sick, who takes care of them? Competent, committed healthcare professionals, that's who. Nurses, lab technicians, physical therapists, and others. Take time out to thank them for their dedication and their hard work. Go ahead, they deserve it. This message is a public service of the Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, AFT, and this station.
Byrd, Charlie Rinker getting set to bowl in our third and final match today on Duckpin Magic. The winner here will advance to next week's program to take on the 9th-seeded Steve Shortridge. Bowling first, Joe, is Hoss Byrd, our 10th seed.
Could get a little loud, Mike. As we mentioned, Hoss right here from Hyattsville in the PG area.
Well, starts off pretty darn quick. Put the mark up on the board, and here's Charlie Rinker. Right on the money.
I tell you, Mike, if you watch, and of course we have the amateur tour, and we had many of the open handicap, and even the youth bowlers during the Duckpin Magic. That was a powerful ball and left a 4 and 8. I'm sorry. Actually, I think a pin went over on the next lane and knocked down a pin, which he'd like to have added to his score, but they won't give it to him. But if you watch this quality of bowler, the mistake is always a small mistake. Maybe not so much on the scoreboard, but it's throwing the ball through the middle. It's not sort of losing your game and throwing the ball way out to the right or way to the left or missing a 2-pinner by 1.5 feet. Even there, he hit his object pin. He just threw it in front. They're solid, and it's I believe from 130 up. Pretty ball.
Wow.
Pretty ball.
Well, he's got up throwing 3 balls. They've all been on the money.
They sure have.
He's just served notice to Charlie Rinker that he's going to have to turn up his game a notch to keep pace.
I tell you, this could well be about an 8-minute game if you watch. Hoss really apparently has not a favorite first ball because he threw a strike on lane 36, come back, picked up a brown ball and threw it not as well as the ball that he threw the strike, but it didn't matter to him. Not a try, left the number 10. Hoss and his wife Cora have 3 children, Billy, Joe, and Patrick.
Well, puts up a 10, 49 after 3, and here's Charlie Rinker. Yep.
wasn't on a count, so really didn't hurt anything. He'd like to come back here and make this shot. He knocked the 2-8 out. Nice try, left the number 7. If he hits his pin, he'll be 10 down after 3 frames. 49, 39.
Okay, it doesn't take much time. See, it's the difference of that strike in the second frame for Byrd.
Okay, he'll have to wait. No, he didn't wait a second. I was going to say his second ball's just coming up the rack, but he picked up his third ball.
On the way. And he's got it. Setting him up and knocking him down.
Yeah, I tell you what, if we're not giving you a lot of personal information, it's because they're not giving us a lot of time, right, Mike? Haas with a high game of 234 and kicked 9 out, left the number 4. 234 for a high game, 563 in a real nice high 3-game set. Average is 146 in the league. Took a little more time with this, Mike.
Wanted to make sure of it, and he certainly was able to chalk that up.
Well, you know what happens? I think first time on TV for both bowlers, and I think you really are a little pumped, and your mind is sort of racing out there. You feel like you have to hurry up. You know, the bowlers are well aware that we're putting 3 games on in an hour, and as you know from the past, sometimes we do have to cut some frames out because of the time element.
Well, Haas will be open in the 5th frame.
You're watching the bowlers there. I tell you, we're not far from big games, Mike. The bowlers that we've watched so far, they've hit a lot of object pins. Our high game was Charlie Rinker. Last game, 160. Other than that, it was 148, 144 for Kenny, and 128 game for Dennis. But we're so close to 170s and 180s. It's the middle or a split here and there. I don't know that we've, other than Charlie sent the 4 in front of the 8 there for a 2-pinner, I don't know that the bowlers have really missed any spare shots so far.
Yep. Charlie Rinker didn't miss that one. He's put 2 together here in the 4th and 5th frames. Trying to climb back into this match right now, trailing by a total of 7 pins.
Tell you, Charlie's the type of bowler, he just quietly has a hold of your shirt tail. You know, he doesn't let you get too far away.
Well, he's never too far away from his object pin. It seems like he's pretty much on target all the time. Maybe a bad break or, you know, the ball doesn't do what it's supposed to be doing, but I'm very impressed with his game. No nonsense. He gets up and fires. Very straightforward, and he's got another one. 3 marks in a row, 4, 5, and 6.
Very aggressive style.
And he has taken the lead in this match.
Yeah, it slowed Haas up just a little bit. A little pull on that, knocked out the 2-8.
Yeah, thought a little too much about that one.
Haas gets down nice at the line too. If you watch, a nice knee bend and way down, and tell you that was as close to making that shot as it was to going in the hole.
He's trying to grab the head pin, and then it splattered.
There's the problem with the gamble of shooting the whole side. If you do hit the hole, then you can have a disastrous frame, as he did have a 6. Charlie went spare in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and Charlie's opened in the 5th, 6th. Now bowling frame 7. I mean, Haas. You see 8 left to 5-9, Mike.
Got an opportunity to put a mark back up on the board here, and I would think that just from a psychological standpoint, he should do this. Pulled it. Well, a guy with a killer instinct like Charlie Rinker may take advantage of that. It's 3 frames in a row now that Byrd has been open.
I'll tell you, from watching Charlie, what I feel that Charlie does is just bowls his game. And if the other guy happens to knock down more pins, then so be it. You know, he's going to win. It's simple as that. And I really believe that Charlie is very little affected by the opponent. There you see a tough shot. He has a 1, 6, 9, 10. An 11-pin lead. Tough shot.
Yeah, he'll be open in the 7th.
1 pin and a 10-pin lead, so anything can happen. We've watched many, many times on Duckpin Magic what happens in the final 2 frames and the reverse of the pressure.
Yeah.
This is a big frame for Charlie.
Oh, that's a big ball. Simple as that. His 2nd strike of the match. And now it's Hoss Byrd who's got to put some marks on the board to get back into this one. Trails by 10 plus a hit there. He's got it. Boy, he sent enough pins in search of that one, didn't he?
Well, if you watched, he was down and under the ball. He came straight through with it, Mike. A couple of the balls in the past couple frames, he's cut the ball off a little bit and pulled it left. But let's see if he stays down and comes straight up with the hand. It looked like it. A little pull, huh?
Yep.
You watched and didn't see what it hit. It looked like he did. Whoops, a little.
Ooh.
Stuck at the line a little.
Yeah, a little bit, but the ball went where it had to go.
That'd have been a nice first ball. Probably it would have been a double.
119 after 9 for Hoss Byrd, and here comes Charlie Rinker stepping in.
Well, Charlie marks in one of these 2 frames and has a big count on his strike. He can actually close Hoss out, and of course the winner of this game.
Oh, about a double.
That just about did it, folks.
Boy, I tell you, Charlie, he's got that killer instinct. He gets you down, he's going to hold you down. Very impressed with his game here, at least first 2 matches we've seen him on Duckpin Magic.
The middle, but it happened in the right order.
He still gets a 7 count out of it.
Happened in the right order for Charlie anyway, not 38, 9, 147, and he has closed Hoss Byrd out.
Oh.
Whoa, look out.
That's what we were talking about. Charlie Rinker.
He jumped up and said, I'm okay.
Yeah, looks like he's all right.
Boy, that could have been...
yeah, depending on what order that happened at. That
exactly right. There
made things extremely interesting, but Charlie finishes up with a fine 156. So he's averaged 158 on the 2, and Steve Shortridge is the next opponent, but he'll have to wait until next week because that's all the time that we have for matches today. Hoss Byrd will finish up. Hoss.
I give Charlie a week to heal after the sort of nosedive he took. 156, 128, and another win for Charlie Rinker.
That's it. Charlie Rinker will be back next week. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this on Duckpin Magic.
There are millions of brave Americans across our countryside who answered when their country called, defended her with pride. Across the generations, from sea to shining sea, we're proud to serve our veterans. We're the DAV.
The Disabled American Veterans reaches out with free service for veterans and their families. The DAV Field Service Unit will arrive in your area soon to help veterans with benefits such as disability compensation, medical care, pensions, employment, and educational benefits. It's our way of saying,
yes, we're proud of you, the American veteran. We're here to serve you. We're the DAV.
Check your local newspaper for schedules.
Last year, over 19,000 Americans died in alcohol-related accidents.
To prevent this carnage, we must stop people who've had too much to drink from driving.
And space technology has led to a device to help do just that.
It's a breath tester called a soberlizer that prevents a car from starting if the driver's had too much to drink.
Here's how it works. The driver turns on the ignition, then blows into a tube for a few seconds.
If the soberlizer detects alcohol above a preset mark, the car won't start.
California and other states are already using this procedure with second offense drunk drivers who are subject to imprisonment if they don't have one of these devices installed.
Hopefully it will lead to a significant reduction in drunk driving accidents and deaths.
Space research not only benefits lives,
it helps save them.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Freddie.
Hi, Grandpa.
Sitting out here by yourself?
No, I'm talking to Shep.
Mind if I join you?
For young and old alike, a healthy, happy pet is a companion for life. See that your pet gets regular veterinary care. A public service message from the American Veterinary Medical Association.
Do you want to?
Ricky, if you and your girlfriend have sex just once, you could win this new baby. She'll become a housewife. And forget about partying, dude. You get a full-time job. So, Ricky, what's your decision?
Get some straight facts about sex and pregnancy. Call 1-800-FACTS-20 for this free booklet.
Welcome back to Fair Lanes P.G. I'm Mike Sella, with me Joe Ryanair. We've brought our general manager here, Myra Piles, in. Hello, Myra. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Congratulations on another successful event here.
Thank you. We were very pleased. We were really pleased. We do anything to help the duckpin game.
Well, this is your 5th annual Men's Classic. Of course, you had 192 entries, a lot of high scores, and we thank you for all your hospitality.
Thank you very much. We've enjoyed it very much.
And Joe, of course, we come back again next week, and we've got everybody going for that $1,500 first prize as we continue the up-the-ladder climb.
Well, as we mentioned, we still have Buddy Kramer sitting on top, and he's been there many times. We have Charlie Rinker, who won his last 2 matches, and he'll be back to face Steve Shortridge in our first match. Myra, what do you think? You run a place, and I know that you're one of Fair Lanes' favorite managers, and I know that you are the favorite person at Fair Lanes P.G. Amongst your bowlers. What do you think? You've been here with the synthetic, and we've talked about it a few times, and I know your bowlers have accepted it. Do you think that the scores and the atmosphere that's created here, just what do you think creates the atmosphere that you have here at Fair Lanes P.G.?
Well, my most important persons in the bowling is my customers, and we try to do anything at all to please them. We have really adjusted to the synthetic lanes, and we like them very much. The scoring has been good. We now and then have a problem with the approaches, but we've conquered that, we believe. And we just feel that that's the up-and-coming thing. There's no other way to go.
All right, great. Well, we've certainly had a good first week, and we'll be back for 3 more weeks here on Duckpin Magic. And so for Myra Piles and Joe Ryanair, I'm Mike Sella. We'll see you again next week right here on Duckpin Magic.